Today, we're talking to a brand who does 4 million a year and about how they're taking advertising in-house for the first time and how they position themselves to be able to qualify for special programs at Amazon you've probably never heard of, including actually becoming a supplier for Amazon warehouses themselves. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I'm your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that's a completely BS-free, organic conversation about serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the e-commerce world. And today, we're not going too far away from me. Here on the West Coast, we've got Angie. Where exactly are you at here?
I'm in Temecula.
Oh, Temecula. Okay, so yeah, like maybe only about an hour away, or less than an hour away from me here. But welcome to the show. So this is your first time on the show. So Temecula, is that where you were born and raised?
No, I'm from Los Angeles. I've lived in Temecula about a year now.
About a year. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do growing up? Like, or what do you think you were going to be? Like, I doubt it was like, hey, I want to be an e-commerce professional when I grow up.
Yeah, I wanted to study law. I wanted to be a lawyer.
Okay. Did you ever go to school for that?
I didn't, no.
When you graduated high school, what did you do?
I actually moved out of the country. I was living in Central America. Mm-hmm.
What part?
Panama.
Panama. Okay. Now, what was your first kind of like taste of e-commerce then? What year and what was it?
It was actually about 3 years ago. I started working for my now boss, Tim, in a different role in his company, and just had a lot of curiosity. They had just got on to Seller Central, and that was kind of my exposure to it. Just a lot of curiosity and learning.
So just learning from the ground up.
Yeah.
What did you start doing? Like accounting or something like that?
More like just data entry stuff.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, hey, raise your hand. I can help with Amazon.
Yeah, he had brought on a consultant, and in our company meetings, it was just really interesting to me, and I could see a lot of things weren't really being done. So I just started researching them myself and finding the answers that Tim wanted that he wasn't getting.
I know you guys have multiple brands. What was the first brand that he started? Which one predates the other?
So our first brand is Stardust Absorbent. So it's like an absorbent powder for spills. That's our primary brand.
When did he start it? And like, what's the backstory?
I know bits and pieces of it. Tim's been in business for over 30 years. He had a business partner. This is his baby. Eventually, they went separate ways, and Tim stayed with Stardust. So this is who we are. This is who we're named after, and so he's the owner and manufacturer of this. And then we also have Star Power, which is our cleaner degreaser. Also, he's the owner of that as well. And then we started manufacturing spill kits, which as I mentioned.
So obviously 30 years ago, people were not, or
yes.
Nobody was selling on Amazon, really. Maybe the books. I don't think even books was a thing yet at that time. But what was the original market? Was it just like a B2B kind of business? Do you know?
Very much so. Tim has always been a B2B company, industrial. He's sold to like Granger, Fastenal, those type of suppliers.
And then do you know at what point he started going online, .com and Amazon and things like that? I assume it was before you joined the company. Do you know how long before?
I would say, if I had to guess, about maybe 10 years, but he started off with Vendor Central. So he was selling on Vendor Central. And then about maybe almost 4 years ago is when he got onto Seller Central.
Okay. And now, here we're in 2026, these brands on Amazon, what would your approximate projected gross sales be?
For 2026?
Yeah.
We're hoping 4 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at a lot of your products, and a lot of them have a kind of pretty high price point. Like your number one seller, what's the price point of your number one seller?
I believe that one is probably in the $90 range.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was looking at here, and still selling good amount. So 4 million probably not 100% B2B. Like, have you any idea what, like what's the demographics like on Amazon? I mean, I assume there's a lot of B2B, but are there like people who just get this for their house or things like that? Or you think like 95% of customers still are actual businesses?
We do believe that the majority are businesses, even though it does seem that we're still about 56% B2C. But we think a lot of that is like small businesses or just businesses that don't have a B2B account, maybe just because our customers, they're businesses. The spill kits aren't really something that you'd have, just lying around in your house.
Okay. So that's pretty impressive. That's, like a big majority of your sales of a $4 million, business being B2B is kind of rare in the Amazon, world. So do you run like B2B pricing on all of your SKUs and have that like a discount to kind of incentivize even more B2B? Or since you're all B2B, do you just have regular pricing because you figure everybody is a business already?
We have B2B pricing. Yeah. We have it scaled.
And what do you what's your standard? Like is it a percentage off or
there's a
percentage
percentage off by the number of units. Yeah. So the more units you buy, then the higher percentage.
Anything on subscribe and save in your business, or these are all just like one-off purchases?
We do have some subscribe and save. Not all of our SKUs, but a few of them.
And at such a high price point, you're able to pay a lot more for advertising as far as like cost per click and things like that. Somebody who's selling a $15 product, they might not want to go much higher than $2 maybe or something on a cost per click. Otherwise, now it starts into their profitability. Have you any for your profitable keywords? What is the highest cost per click you've seen? Like I've been in your account, so I think I know part of the answer, but it's like probably some of the highest cost per clicks I've ever worked on in any account. People are like, what? That will give me a nightmare. Like, no, it's fine when you're talking about an order value of $200. So what are some cost per clicks that you have?
I think on average, a lot of them are around $12, but I do think that there are some that are about 20, maybe a little more. Mm-hmm.
I've seen 20, I've seen 25 in your account, almost up to $30. Now, what's for your competitors in this, absorbents and spill kits and things like that niche? Are these other US based brands like yours? Are these foreign brands from China? What kind of companies are you competing with?
So historically, they've been US based, and we're very well acquainted with all of them. But recently, we've had some new competitors come on the market, and a lot of the new ones are Chinese based.
Are they undercutting you a lot on price?
They are.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how, has that affected you, or do you have like such brand loyalty that your sales haven't been affected as much? Or are you like maybe getting less new acquisition because of it? Or how has this new, source of competition affected you?
Yeah, I don't think that we've really felt any of the effects from it yet. So we're just keeping an eye on them, but they're definitely coming up in the scene. So
yeah, I see some. I'm not sure if these are US brands or not, but they even have like a lot of your I almost want to say branding, like your color scheme, like it's like your yellow color scheme, I'm seeing here. I'm like, wait a minute, this is not your brand here. So people are definitely kind of like copying you guys, because you were probably the trailblazers on here. What's your process for like, or how often do you guys launch a new product on Amazon?
So our goal was to launch 2 to 3 new products a year.
How do you pick that? Is it just what you end up launching off Amazon, what your customers have wanted, or do you do any kind of research where it's like, hey, in this niche on Amazon, we see some demand that's not being met, or what's your deciding factor on a brand like this when you add new products?
So a little bit of all of that, but initially what we've been doing is really just using what already works. So a lot of it is just variations, or for example, one of our brands is like a ready-to-use polymer cement.
Oh, wow. So that's a completely different kind of product than just a spill.
And that is a B2C product. It's a very, DIYer and that really carries our weekend sales for us. So we've had that. It's worked. So then we brought on a 2-pack. We brought on a 4-pack. And just recently we launched, it was in the color gray. So we launched it in the color white. We also launched a smaller version of it as well, a smaller package. So that's really been what we've been doing. We also had a launch. We have a cleaner degreaser concentrate, which is one of our brands, Star Power. And so we thought, why don't we bring it a ready-to-use version of that so that it's more B2C friendly. So that was one of our launches this year as well. So far,
what's your launch strategy when you do launch one of these new products? Are you doing the same kind of stuff that you hear on like, Maldives honeymoon strategy where we just target keywords, or is it different where since it's B2B, you actually rely more on your existing customer base and letting them know you have a new product, or are you doing some similar stuff that regular private label sellers do, or are you just trying to, get top of search for like your top 5 keywords and go from there?
Yeah. Well, for both of those products, they're actually B2C products. So I guess part of our strategy has been, doing keyword research, kind of piggybacking off of, our other campaigns that have already been effective, discounts.
When you do discounts, do you do a sale price? Do you do a coupon? Do you do a Prime exclusive discount, or what do you mean?
We were doing a sales price, but with our last launch, what we did is we actually let the regular price sit there for 30 days. We let some sales come through, and then after 30 days, then we just did a sales price. And so we were able to get the mark through price, which helped. And then we also used the Vine program for new launches. So that we're able to get reviews. And then once we have about 10 reviews is when we start the ad campaign.
The company owner, he was saying how actually you guys are even becoming a supplier for Amazon. So talk a little bit about how did that happen? Because that's kind of cool. As in a supplier for Amazon, we're not talking about 1P. We're talking about Amazon warehouses are using these products. Was it like somebody just saw this sitting in an FBA warehouse like, hey, we actually need this product? Or did you guys actually find someone to pitch this to? Or how in the world did that happen?
So we're really big on any event that Amazon has. We try to be present, and we just believe that networking with Amazonians is so important. And so we went to an event because we're a minority-owned business. We were invited to an event in Los Angeles at the Paramount Studios, I believe, and it was for Black History Month. And we had some great conversations with some Amazonians. We followed up and just started having some meetings and kind of just got passed along, but stayed persistent. And it took about 1.5 years, but finally we became a preferred seller to Amazon. So now Amazon's warehouses are buying our products.
That's pretty. Did they instantly become like one of your biggest customers, B2B customers?
So that just started this month.
Okay.
So we're just now starting to see those sales come through. So we don't actually have numbers yet, but it is exciting to see it happening.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then we also became through B2B, through their EDU entity, we were able to become a preferred seller or preferred vendor for one of the school districts, Chicago Public Schools, and are looking for other, entities within the EDU entity to become a preferred seller as well. So
what does that mean? Tell me about, I don't know anything about that program. Is this like a special program that Amazon has where they contract out and give special rates to school districts or something like that?
So they have special contracts with all kinds of companies, Fortune 500 companies, school districts, hospitals, all kinds of businesses where they agree to, for a certain dollar spend a year. And then within that dollar spend, also a certain spend for minority-owned businesses or women-owned businesses and so forth. And so Amazon basically finds sellers that fit that profile or that can fill those needs for that particular company. And so, again, it took about 1.5 years to get through the process, but just this month as well, we became a vendor or a seller for a preferred seller for Chicago Public Schools. So anytime they look up Spill Kit, and so that could be anyone within that school district, a principal, a school nurse, a teacher, they look up Spill Kit, and because of our credentials that we have now, will show up.
In the regular Amazon, or is it like a special app or something that they're using?
So it's a regular Amazon. It's just with that school district's account.
Oh, okay. So like it kind of like pushes you guys to the top of any search that they're doing, as long as those people are logged into this school district account.
Right. There's like a special badge that once you meet these qualifications, you have this badge that says preferred seller.
And now, so for this, was this like through conversations and meeting people, or
Again,
this is just by being part of that program and they just, they contacted you, or was it you ran into somebody like that?
It was networking with Amazonians, and then also kind of getting a little bit of the runaround. And so last year at Accelerate, talking to the SaaS department is really what helped us to get what we needed to finish this.
Okay, cool. So two things, learnings from this is first of all, everybody out there should be applying for all the badges that you can, minority owned, woman owned, look up all the different, small business, look up all those things that you can show certification for, and then get those badges, and then try to network as much as you can with those from Amazon, do their local events, do their national events. I think it was an Accelerate that we originally met before. And so that's another way that you can get into some of these programs that you guys have never heard about. That's pretty cool. Now, how long, we met last year at Accelerate, I believe. Were you already using Helium 10 before that, or around that time is when you just started?
No, so we were not using Helium 10. We were with an agency. A third-party agency was running all of our ads for us. And then, but I had already been following Helium 10 podcast. I had been following them on social media, and I was a big fan. But it wasn't until meeting you and then, being able to talk more about Helium 10 that really gave us the confidence to make that switch. So we eventually left the agency and then used Helium 10 ads to run our ads.
Were you handling the catalog part always, though, and just the agency was only doing the ads?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me the difference of how your life has changed, as far as managing the accounts with Helium 10 as opposed to what I consider flying blind. Not on the ad side, but the catalog and keyword research and listing optimization and competitor analysis. Like, what is part of your routine now where you're like probably thinking like, oh my goodness, I don't know how could I have even done anything before? Like what are the most game-changing differences from now compared to like a year ago when you weren't using Helium 10 at all?
Well, that's a good question. I first of all, I just feel so much more confident with all of it. One of the ones I've been using recently a lot, I can't remember the exact name, but I know it has to do with pig food.
Mm-hmm. Helium 10 Audience.
Helium 10 Audience. I've been loving that, being able to do the customer polls and get feedback, especially like for our customer launch. For our product launch. So we
are you using it for like an image or
mostly images right now? Mm-hmm.
And would you say that when you used it, it maybe, what you thought was the best image was not, or did it just validate that, this is the one I was going to pick and now I just see it from the customers, or what experience have you had so far?
I think personally for me, what it's done is a lot of times when the owner and myself don't agree on something, mm-hmm. It helps me to prove my point.
Or you're saying yours is the one that has that has won.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm able to present it to him and show him that this is what customers want, and the reasons why. So that's been.
What other tools have you been using other than Helium 10 Audience?
Mainly the ads, Helium 10 ads. You've helped me set up rules and the suggestions. Oh, now using the MCP. Mm-hmm. MCP, that's correct, right?
Yep.
And we have.
Were you guys already kind of like using Claude or other AIs for your business, or this is kind of like the first that you're doing something?
Yeah, we were using ChatGPT initially, and then I personally moved over to Claude, and I was using Claude Work, which I loved. But now with the MCP, it's just a game changer, especially now that it has the right permissions. It's amazing.
What kind of things are you using for that thing?
I've used it to like change bids, analyze the bid, and then it'll tell me you should lower this. These keywords, or pause this campaign, or so forth, and then it follows through. And so I think too, being newer to Helium 10, what I love about the MCP is that I'm watching it work and I'm able to follow along and see what it's doing as well. So I'm learning with it.
Okay. And what's been a big difference other than maybe cost, going on the ad side, going from an agency to running it yourself? Like, I mean, it's not like Helium 10 is free. Like, is it cheaper to use Helium 10 than whatever you're paying the agency? And this is a pretty big account, I think $4 million account. Obviously you're probably doing a lot of advertising. I'm not sure how much, maybe over 500 grand or maybe even close to $1 million a year. I'm not sure, but I assume it's just handling this. Are you saving money as opposed to what you're doing at agency, or is the difference like you're able to control better? Now you're controlling the catalog and you can just follow up on the ads, or what's the difference of going from outsourced to your own optimizing?
We're definitely saving money. We've had several agencies throughout the last few years. A lot of them are based on performance. So as you sell more, they get paid more as well. That's one. And then also, just being a lot more hands-on. And, overall, they would present us, the numbers, our tacos, our ROAS, and they seemed fine. But now that I'm like hands-on and able to dig in, I could see that there was a lot of wasted spend and things like that overall the account looked good, but there was still a lot that, a lot of improvements that could have been made when someone is hands-on.
Okay. Yeah, we're definitely going to be, helping you further on with your advertising. I remember getting into the first time and seeing like some crazy stuff, like when you first switched over, like thousands of dollars of spend with clicks and no sales. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is hurting my eyes to see this. But yeah, you're right. Like overall, your ACoS wasn't bad. But that's what's pretty cool. Like once you start using software, you could look from a high, far away, angle and everything looks good. But you're like, oh man, we can do even better if we just optimize some of this stuff that's been going under the radar and looking at it at the campaign, at the target level. Like you can get these numbers even better. I know we just started like the day parting and things like that as well. Now, it sounds like you haven't used much some of the other tools. So what I want to do right now is we're just going to do this live. Let's do something live here. Which one is your main seller? Actually, I can probably just find it myself. I don't want to hit one of your ads. Charge you one of these $15 cost per clicks. Oh, see, look at this. I clicked on somebody. It wasn't even you. Yeah. It looked like they're copying your images and everything. And I thought it was you. Oh my goodness gracious. These stinkers out there. This is you here. Okay, is this your top seller or
that kit, but the 2-pack? So if you click on it, then you can go to variation.
The 2-pack. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is your top seller. Wow, this is a 6-figure product per month just by itself. Pretty impressive. Let's go. I'm going to put that as the first ASIN. This is Cerebro, so we're going to put that as the first ASIN. Now, what's one of your main keywords overall? Like a general keyword, not a branded keyword. Is it spill kit? Is it spill? Kit. All right. Now let's look at the search results here. There you are. You guys are dominating your top of search, so that's good. You got the first 2 ads. Now I'm just scrolling here. Obviously, some of these, this is something that's important to know for people out there. I've said this before in my trainings that you're not competing with every single person on your main keywords. Like the example I've given before is accordions. If you type in accordion on Amazon, you've got $500 accordions that if you're trying to be a new member of Banda Machos or Tucanes de Tijuana, like a mariachi band or something, that you would need a professional accordion. And then you've got $50 accordions if you're, trying to buy something for your 10-year-old nephew or something. Those 2 products are going to show up on page 1 of the keyword accordion. They are not competing with each other, even though they're sharing the same real estate. Because when somebody types in accordion and is looking for a replacement for being on Los Tucanes, that in mind, they're looking only for a $500 accordion. They're not going to be like, oh, I see at the top of search this $50 one. Let me go ahead and buy this instead. No, it's like that's almost invisible. And so here we see a situation like that where I typed in spill kit, and sure, Stardust products are showing up here, but the Amazon brand analytics, one of the top clicked, 20% of the clicks actually, this is a $13 bodily fluid cleanup pack. This is disgusting. sounding here. But this is not a compare. If somebody types in spill kit and is at a hospital or something, this is what they're looking for. If somebody's typing spill kit and they have a warehouse, they couldn't care less that this product is showing up here. So that's just something to keep in mind. So would this product be one of your top competitors here?
Yeah, so we have another spill kit just like that in a bucket.
Okay.
So that is one of our, top competitors.
I'm just going to throw it in here. So I'm just going to grab that ASIN. I'm going to throw it here into Cerebro. Obviously, if we were using the MCP, it would even be a little bit better. Is this another competitor of yours?
Yes.
This AWF. Okay, I'm going to copy that. This one is a pretty cheap one. Is this like one of the new Chinese ones? No, it's a USA. It says USA. Maybe the seller is USA. Okay. Is this a competitor though?
Yes.
Or is it too cheap? Okay, let's go ahead and copy them. All right. So there's probably other competitors you have, but let's just start with 3. So what I'm doing is by putting your ASIN first here, we're going to compare these other products with yours as far as where you're ranking, where you're getting sales from, where they're getting sales from. So this is step 1. We're also going to take a look at historical numbers as well. All right. So overall, 2,000 keywords. So this is not a humongous niche, which makes sense, unlike, some products where there's a limitless number of different keywords that could describe it. I imagine the keywords that people are using to find this kind of product very, very narrow. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to say, hey, what keywords that have at least 300 search volume, putting minimum 300 search volume, where you're ranked 0 to 0, position rank. This is your product. That's why it's important that you put your product first, 0 to 0. Where is, let's just say, at least one ASIN, the minimum number of organic competitors, is ranking in the top 10. Now, the goal of whenever you run this is you want this to be 0. Like, you don't want any products to be or any keywords to show up where your competitors are getting sales from it, by definition, because they're ranked in the top 10, and you're not even at all in any of the 7 pages. So the goal is to be at 0. Let's see what we're at. Other than, of course, like branded keywords. And like obviously you're not going to get sales from their branded keywords. And we've got that's exactly what we have here. So this is good. This is I assume this is kind of like a branded strange keyword here. So you're doing good there. Now, the second thing I want to see is where is one of your competitors rank in the top 10, but maybe you're like 15 or below. So I'm going to put minimum 15 on position rank. And you want this to be 0. All right. So this is good. Everything here is 0 for the keywords 300 up. And so this is what you should be doing to make sure that your competitors are not getting sales from keywords that you're not. All right. So let's go ahead and open this up. Okay. And so now I'm looking at the keywords that your competitors, for the most part, are ranking kind of highly for. And then what you want to look at is your position or rank. All right. So we see here oil spill cleanup kit. There's a keyword with, actually, no. All right. So here we got keywords over 300 search volume. Here we go. Spill kits OSHA approved. 1,000 search volume. The competitor rank average is 3.7. Why? Because of these top competitors, you got one who's 2, one who's 3, one who's 6, and then you're 7. So here's something that you might want to, monitor, because here's one of the top keywords, and all 3 of your competitors are showing up before you. So this could be something that, you are going to want to, maybe look at. Okay, you are number 1 in sponsored rank, so that's good. But you see here, your organic rank, you might want to increase, because especially sometimes I notice in your niche, this search result page is showing up in this grid form, but then some of your products are showing up in the where it's just like one product over another. And so what happens there is, actually, this is exactly it. This keyword exactly is what I'm talking about. You see the difference of these search results when somebody's looking on desktop. And I feel like the B2B products are probably not being ordered on mobile as much as desktop, as opposed to somebody just buying a power bank. If somebody's in a purchasing department and they got to track all their orders and certain things, they're probably more likely to be buying on desktop. And so when you have keywords like this, where the search results are on top of each other, as opposed to if I just have this, I see, without even scrolling, I can see 5 or 6 products here, the sponsored rank. But then here, I have to scroll a long ways just to be able to see 4 or 5 products. And so what happens is on search results like this, products are, or customers might not be scrolling or seeing as many products as on the other. And so like organic position on these might be a little bit more important. And so the fact that you're showing up, just like Helium 10 says, you're showing up number 1 in sponsored, but then your competitor here is the first organic, and a different competitor is the second or organic. And then you've got this sponsored section right here. And then you've got another sponsored ad here. But look how much I'm scrolling just to see. I still haven't seen your organic placement. So for somebody who's just kind of like, oh, I don't want to see any ads, I've been scrolling a lot and I still don't see your product at all. And here's another product and here's another one. And so I still don't see your product. Like you see the organic, here is your product all the way down here, halfway through the page, just like Cerebro was saying, the last time it checked, you were ranked 7. Yeah, 7, and the others are ahead. So you're already doing what you can because your sponsored rank is 1, but this could be a reason if you're not getting too many organic sales. It could be, even though you're on page 1, but out of your main competitors, if your relative rank is last, then that's what you should be paying attention to. You could be ranked 10 organically, but your relative rank is 1. What does that mean? That means, all right, you're 10, but maybe those like bodily fluid spill kits for hospitals are showing up. It's almost as if those don't even count. Nobody's going to buy those. But if you're the first one among your competitors to show up, then this is important. So here's something that we're going to work on later is, hey, let's check the relative rank to make sure you're showing up the first among your direct competitors. The good thing, like I said, is that you're not showing up, or you're not invisible on any keyword that your competitors are getting sales from, at least in this. Obviously we should go through that on your other products, but this is what you should be doing. And then I'll show you later how to do a keyword harvesting thing where if your competitors start getting sales for a keyword and ranking for a keyword that you're not indexed for, you'll get a notification. So you don't have to run this. Another thing to do is looking at the historical trends to kind of see what are your competitors doing in advertising. So like, for example, let me hit one of your competitors here. And then so you can see here that in March and April, they turned off their sponsored brand video ads. I'm not sure if you're running sponsored brand video ads. And then you can see they're going heavily in sponsored brand video ads in the rest of the year. Do what you want with that information, but you can just kind of see what's going on. And then you look at this competitor. This competitor is not running sponsored brand at all, but they've got some sponsored brand header ads. And look at this. Last year during Q4, for whatever reason, they turned off their sponsored brand ads. So now all of a sudden, coming into Q4 this year, this might be something I might look at. Hey, this is one of my main competitors. Let me see, are they going to turn off their sponsored brand video ads during this month? And in that case, should I go more aggressive? Should I back off a little bit, knowing that I'm not going to have some competition? So these are just the insights just by looking at some of this data where you can start making some decisions. Let's look at another one, competitor here. Here is another competitor who, wow, they almost turned off all their sponsored product ads, which is kind of shocking, starting in June of last year. So this could be something where you look back at yours and you're like, wait a minute, maybe I can like dial back some of my spend. I was trying to outbid a little bit, but maybe I can dial it back and perhaps save some money. So the other thing I like to do is look at the competitors' BSR charts, and I want to see if they have a big spike in sales or a decrease in sales. Like, for example, right here in May, I see that they kind of like took a step up. Like if you look back at March and April, they had a BSR of like in the high 30,000s. And then all of a sudden, May, and then especially in June, they've been hovering around 10,000. So for me, what I would do is I would compare, let's just pretend here in Cerebro, I would hit this historical. Let's just pretend that this is the customer I was looking at. So what I would do is I would run their ASIN in Cerebro and then hit this monthly comparison. And then I'm like, all right, I want to compare where they were at in like, let's just look here, May compared to June, because there's a big gap. And so I'm going to choose the May, and June and hit apply. All right. And then I'm going to say for the first month, for any keyword, 200 search volume, where were they ranked like outside of the top 10 to 306? And the second month, which is June, where were they ranked like in the top 10? In other words, where did they increase, if anything? And let's see what we come up with. Okay, so 3 keywords here: acid spill kits, and safety spill kits. In May, they were ranked less than in June. So these could be keywords where these could be keywords where, because they moved up even just slightly, they could have been getting more sales. All right. Like here's one where they weren't advertising safety spill kits. They weren't advertising at all for this keyword in May. And then all of a sudden they were in June, and lo and behold, look what happened to their organic rank. And they started getting more sales. And so then, you take this information and be like, okay, I got to make sure that I'm ranking for safety spill kits and I'm trying to be at top of search, because we can see what the results are when they do. And so this is just kind of like some of the things you can do. Obviously with the MCP, it'll be super easy to do this with certain skills and things. So these are just some of the things that we're definitely going to be working on to, like you're a $4 million business. So obviously you're doing things right. And you've got a good stranglehold on the market here, even with these lower price sellers. But there's always room to improve, not just optimizing your profitability and your advertising, but doing this competitor research where you can discover, hey, what happens when I move my organic rank up 1 or 2 spaces here? You're not guessing. You can look what happened to your competitor who did it and then decide, hey, does this warrant the investment? So I'm excited to look into this stuff with you. And then maybe in about 6 or 7 months or so, let's come back and maybe we could say that, hey, you're actually probably going to be on path for 5 or 6 million next year because of the things we did. Sound good?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I'll be seeing you in a little bit. Will you be at Amazon Accelerate?
I will be. Yeah.
All right. Tim as well?
Tim will be there and Eric will be there as well.
Awesome. We'll see you there at Accelerate for our 1-year reunion, our anniversary. And then you'll be on stage with me at Amazon Unboxed a week later in San Francisco, where we're going to talk about your sponsored brand store, and we're going to do some work on that. So that's going to be exciting to be able to do that on stage. So anybody who's out there, you guys want to meet Angie and the Stardust team, her boss, you're not going to be able to miss him. He's like, what, 6'9" or something like about, or how tall is he?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And you're like 5 foot nothing, almost. So if you see a 5 foot Latina with a 6'9" African American, guys, pretty much that's Stardust, and I might be around them. So look out at Accelerate or Unboxed for that that dynamic duo, and say that you heard them on the Serious Sellers podcast. But we look forward to your next episode and look forward to the kind of content we're going to produce together.